The way that a space looks or is designed can have a massive influence on how we feel about a place, on our behaviour and our moods. School kids who work in natural light are likely to perform better. If a building is clean, then it's probably less likely to be vandalised. But as we're moving around more and more, it can be difficult to feel like we have any kind of meaningful ownership over the places where we live and where we work. We're a lot less likely to be staying in the same place for a really long stretch of time, so our understanding of community ownership over public spaces has changed dramatically. And that can lead to places feeling a little bit unloved. They get fly tipped more, things get broken, they're littered, but we are off to meet a community who have decided to take things into their own hands. They've said no more. They clubbed together to clean up the fly tipped alleyway around the back of their houses, and they've turned it into a space that the entire community can use.
You can't believe the state this alleyway was in. This alleyway was a disgrace. And to see how it looks now, it's just fills me with great joy.
What was happening more and more was that people were emptying houses into the alley. And although Eileen and I often cleared the alley, we couldn't clear settees, etc. So we realised we were always contacting the council to say, can you come and move this? And we thought, something's got to change. How can we change this? So we wrote an email to the councillors. And one of the councillors came to my house that very day that I'd emailed and said, I'm going to ring somebody while I'm here with you and we will do something. We cleaned the alley, we cleared it, and what then happened was I got in contact with Hubbub, the charity. We met somebody called Truin who came to talk to us and said, you know, let's see if we can help in any way. The next thing we knew was that Hubbub could help us, they could provide some resources, and it's changed from an alley that was again getting very overgrown, a lot of fly tipping, etc., to what you're seeing now, which is a clean alley, an alley where children can play, where people like to come out and meet with each other. I think we've got to the stage now where people have got a space that they want to keep as a space that's lovely to look at, that's lovely to spend time in. So I don't think people will easily fly tip in this alley any longer, because it has, to me, generated a bigger sense of community than there was before.
It's really improved. It's clean. You'd want to come now. You really want to walk from one end to the other end now.
It's sort of restored your faith in people, doesn't it, really? Yeah. It's really hard graft, really is, but it's worth it in the end.
Repointed walls, we've put up solar lighting, we've painted gates, made planters from pallets, we've made picture frames from pallets. We've grown the plants from seed. We've done a little bit of local history research. Nearly everything you can see here has been recycled. But I think what this alleyway demonstrates is that it's not always about the money. It's about confidence building, and it's about reimagining stuff that's been dumped. All the stuff that's here that isn't brand new bought has been dumped in an alley somewhere. So all the pallets have been dumped, all the tyres have been dumped. It's a genuine revolution has gone on here, and I really believe that.
These stories have inspired other people in Oldham to start doing up their alleyways, and we hope that it goes even further than that through our Love Where You Live campaign, which is hoping to inspire people to do up places that are unloved and disused. But all of this got us thinking about how you actually create a space that's positive and what happens when you do. So we went to meet Sal Winder, who is an architecture professor, to find out a little bit more about it. The thing that I'm interested in is how space and how the spaces that we move around in, that we interact with, can affect us psychologically.
Space and the environments that we operate in can work at a number of levels. When we're thinking about design, we're thinking about how do you enter a space, what is the light like, how has the furniture been laid out. When it works well, it's brilliant. When these things haven't been thought about, what tends to happen is you get spaces that might be cramped, they're a little bit dark, the acoustic might not work very well, and in a sense, that doesn't make us feel very comfortable. It doesn't make us feel relaxed. And then what's going to happen is that's going to affect our behaviour, not just physically but also psychologically. So that's why the design of our environments, whether it's a room or a park, is really important.
Broken windows theory.
Yes.
And I wondered if you could fill us in a little bit on exactly what that means.
Yeah, so this is a theory about decay and potential decline of a place. So if you have something that's broken or it's not fixed and nobody fixes it, over time someone else might come along and go, well, actually no one's really looking after this place, making sure it's okay. And over time what tends to happen is we get what's known as a downward spiral, where the space becomes unloved, there might be more crime, there might be a rise in kind of unsocial behaviours. The people who are near that place might feel that they don't belong or it's unsafe, and then before you know it, you get a no-go zone, which means ultimately that decline is very dangerous, really. These things kind of mix up together and people feel like that they're unloved, but also the space has become unloved. You put the two together and it's a recipe for disaster. Yeah. And that's what we want to try and avoid.
From one very small thing
One
as well,
very small thing. And when we have local pride and we have a sense of collective responsibility, people feel like they belong, and then that makes people feel happier, and they feel like they're connected, and they feel like they're part of something bigger. And often you find that if people are integrated into any process, they will then start to take ownership and responsibility because they feel like they're part of something. Nobody likes a top-down approach. These people thought that this space was unloved, no one was looking after it, and they just said, you know what, we're going to have a go and see what we can do. They didn't wait for permission, they just got out there and got on with it, and that's so beautiful and so empowering.
There are loads of other examples of communities coming together to reclaim a space. When the city of Detroit went bankrupt and a lot of public services essentially stopped, the community came together. They made their own recycling program. Artists redecorated disused buildings, and guerrilla gardeners turned disused lots into organic farms. It's now been dubbed by the New York Times as the most exciting city in America. And closer to home, projects like the Skip Garden are providing food, education and employment to local people. We have an amazing opportunity as individuals to be able to affect the space around us, and one tiny change can be a butterfly effect for a whole community. If you've been inspired by the people in Oldham to do up your own alleyways or parks or community spaces, then let us know what you're planning to do in the comments. Or if you've already done it and you're ahead of the game, then please send me a picture. I really want to see what you've done, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time.